The Return of the King. Maybe some metaphors from the book and the movie from Lord of the Rings, but more of the idea of the holy king, the righteous king, the true king within. What does it look like when that emanates from inside you and from those around you? So let's dive in. I think that question is naturally its own answer, right? I think kingship is the point in which the true king, we should say, true kingship, is not about holding lands, resources, or having power over people. A king is a king because they know themselves to be a king. It's pretty much that. It's that simple. It is an innate knowing of your own self-worth. And in that God spark that you feel in yourself, you see that in everyone else. So the king is 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 the king. No, the king is the king because the king sees the kingship in everyone around him. From the lowest worker to the highest courtesan or even the queen. It is that which sees itself in everything else. And that is kind of the society we want to live in. We don't want a big, strong savior king to come in and fix all of our problems because that disempowers us. We don't want them to tell how we should be, how we should feel, how we should think. Likewise, we don't want to be doing that to ourselves, right? How many times have you woken up in the morning and hit snooze, and later in the afternoon you're saying, why am I like this? I sleep in too much, or things like that. You're kind of bossing yourself around, or not necessarily being kind. So we want to find these moments of empowerment, and that is from our own individual kingship. That is our innate self-worth. Being worthy. It's a beautiful word. Let's just let that kind of roll around. Worthy. Feels pretty good. I am worthy. Give it a couple tries. I'm worthy. Yeah, it feels nice. Might add that to my morning ritual. Just pop out of bed. I am worthy. And go make some breakfast. So the king is aware of his worth. We are aware of our worth because of our own daily empowerments without somebody coming in to save us. So the king in its highest form is a beacon of light because they, instead of bringing out the darkness in others, are daily combating their own personal darkness. They are bringing light into the parts of themselves that feel unworthy, so those parts can then feel worth. So it's just this expansion of worth, of wealth, of rightness, of righteousness. And in the movie, this makes me think of Aragorn, right? So man lives a long life. He's in his 80s, I'm pretty sure, right? 87? 67? He ages differently than normal mortals. But he has been a ranger his whole life. The throne of Gondor, his rightful seat, which he has denied himself, is entrusted to a family line of stewards with the brothers Boromir and Faramir next in line with, I can't remember their father, Denethor? Denimir, something like that, Denethor, sitting on the throne. And he shows himself to be quite unworthy, right? He's willing to sacrifice what he thinks is his lesser son, Faramir, because he's so upset or distraught about the death of his preferred son, Boromir. Kind of a low thing, right? A little dishonorable or a little gross as you're watching it in the movie. He's eating his cherries, the music's playing. He's got juice coming down his chin while Pippin's singing a beautiful song, and Faramir's off getting shanked by some orcs in, I can't remember the name of the city. The one that's outside of Minas Tirith. And yeah, so while Aragorn's out there, rightfully so, helping out with the hobbits, doing some honorable stuff, the kingdom is in disarray. They won't answer the call to Rohan, their closest allies, when Rohan is in need. They are in a state of fear, a state of disarray, we'll say. They are not the happiest they could be, right? And yeah, so I think that's just kind of beautiful. So Aragorn is doing what he feels is needed in quite low places. The beginning of the movie starts, or the introduction of Aragorn, you see him smoking his pipe in a kind of a body inn where the hobbits are. Right? Not super pompous. Can you imagine one of our presidents or elected officials, unless it was a celebrity stunt to get more publicity, like being seen in a, like a dive bar, a biker bar, in a haze of cigarette smoke, helping out a group of people that they think will help save America or something like that. No, probably not. Fully aware of his own self-worth, but also this mark of perhaps dishonor that his family line is feeling with the fall of his great-great-great-grandfather and keeping the ring instead of destroying it. So the king within is constantly growing, expanding, feeling the past in its own, we could say, generational guilt, generational curse. I've heard that word used before. That is the feeling of the sense of lack or wrongness, perhaps, that your family felt for generations. That could be a poverty mindset. That could be a penchant for anger or violence, things like this. That's kind of like the blind spot, you could say, that your family has passed on to you in the way that your parents raised you. And everyone begins life with this. It's not, look at me, I'm the chosen one, I don't have this. It is part of your cycle of birth and death, is to be given the gifts of your family, their experiences, and also the downsides, the curses that come with that. So the king within is aware of these and is trying to find honor and worth beyond them in moving forward and extending that to his fellow man. I don't know if I have too much more to say other than that. Is the most important thing about the king within is seeing the king without. It is recognizing that in your brother and your sister, and seeing every person as an integral part of the system that you know and love. I can't imagine, there was a gym I would go to a few years ago, and there was this gentleman who was the cleaning man, the janitor, and he was either there for most of the day or just whenever I was there, it seems that he was there. And just a beacon of light and love. Always grinning, smiling. Like, if there was a king in the castle at that gym, it was him. Like, everybody knew his name. People would pat him on the back as he walked by. They would engage him in conversation, talk about his life. And he was just happy as could be, cleaning, sweeping the floor, wiping the windows, cleaning the toilets. That is a level of kingship that I think we could all aspire to, and that regardless of where we feel we are in our life, can I see the worth in what it is I'm doing currently? Isn't that I have to hold myself to something I don't enjoy, but seeing the value in it, and then applying that value to the next thing I want to do in life, my next exploration, the next king and queens I want to engage my time with. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. The king in me sees the king in you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.